Hey kids, it's Pastor Alston
and Mr. Brandon
here with this week's Big Truth. Alright, so we're in our last week of our Advent series. It's been a really great time walking through the whole Advent series this year, talking about the King. We're in the book of Matthew, and so we've been introducing a new key word every week. So let's do a very fast, rapid round review, okay? So if you think back all the way to Guide 1, our first key word that we introduced was Jesus followers blank in the King. Hope. Hope in the King. All right, Mr. Brandon's on it. All right, Jesus followers hope in the King. So our second week, we said Jesus followers blank the King.
Trust.
Trust is correct. Jesus followers trust the King. All right, so we said hope, trust. We had two more before we introduced our last one. So Jesus followers blank the King, week 3.
Now, this was my favorite lesson from the Advent series, and that's Jesus followers worship.
Worship. Did you guys get that right?
Yeah.
Jesus followers worship the King. All right, and the last one from last week that we introduced was has a couple different words in there. But there's one key word, and that's Jesus followers experience the blank of the King. Grace. Yeah. That's exactly right. Jesus followers experience the grace of the King. We talked about Mary and Joseph last week. All right, so one more key word that we have for you guys. So our big truth this week is Jesus followers obey the King. Jesus followers obey the King. I have a feeling that the word obey is probably a word that you hear often at home. I know my kids do, or hopefully they do. 1 John chapter 5, verse 2. 1 John 5:2. So again, you guys know how this works. So I'm going to read it, and I want you to listen for our key word that's in our big truth. So 1 John 5:2 says this: "By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and obey His commandments." Did you guys hear that? Obey His commandments. That's our key word, obey. So let me read it again. 1 John 5:2 says this: "By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and obey His commandments." So our big truth this week is Jesus followers, that those of us who have repented of our sin, put our faith and trust in Jesus, we follow Jesus, we obey the King, we obey Jesus. So Mr. Brandon's got some hooks that he's going to kind of introduce for us this week.
All right, guys. So again, this week I want to take one of our big ideas and want to help unpack our big truth for this week. And so before I let you know what our big idea is, let's talk about obeying. So when we say we need to obey, it usually means we need to do something, or maybe not do something. So your parents give you a rule that you need to follow. It's you take action and follow that rule so you don't get in trouble. So our big idea for this week is obedience is faith in action. So we obey, just like our Bible verse says, we obey God's commands. That's our faith in action. But that shows really 3 different things. So our obedience to God's commands shows others what we believe. But it also shows others how much we trust God, and it shows others how much we really love God. So our hook this week, I want you guys to sit down as a family, and I want you to just real quick list some words that you would use to tell the Christmas story, like if you were going to tell someone that never heard it. So after you make that list, take those words and just tell the story of how Jesus was born, the story of Mary and Joseph and Jesus' birth. And as you're telling that, just remind each other that is one of the key things that we use to tell others about Jesus, that He came from heaven and He was born as a man on earth. And talk about how us telling that is being obedient to God and putting our faith in action. So I hope you guys have fun with that this week. Maybe you can even go to school when you go back from Christmas break and tell others the Christmas story using this activity. So you guys have a great week. Back to you, Pastor Al.
Awesome. All right, so we got one more Bible story that we've got for you guys in this Advent series. And so we've been in the book of Matthew. We've got one little section left that we're going to kind of cover, and it's Matthew chapter 2, verses 19 through 23. So it's very short. And so here's what we want you guys to do. Take it and read it. It's just a few verses, and it talks about how Joseph obeyed God's command. And we're talking about obedience. We're talking about that when we follow Jesus the King, that we obey Him. And so Joseph obeyed, and we can see that kind of illustrated in our Bible passage for this week. So we've got a fun fact kind of get you guys reading. And we're going to leave it here. So you guys have to kind of dig into the word for the answer. We're not going to tell you the answer here today. So here's the deal. So God commanded Joseph, right, to move his family back to Israel, that it was safe now to do that. And he told him to go to a specific city. So what we want you guys to do at home this week is to look at the Bible story for this week, Matthew chapter 2, verses 19 through 23, and you figure out the fun fact for this week. And that is, what city did God command Joseph to take his family to? So you guys have fun looking that up and figuring out that answer for the fun fact this week. And hey, we have had an awesome time with you guys in this Advent series. So we wanted to say we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year, and we will see you in 2021.
See you next year, guys.